morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Julie and Milo show. Today is January 22nd, 2021. My name is Julie. I'm coming to you from Newport Coast, California. My dear friend Milo. Milo, hello. Please say hello.
Hey, how you guys doing? Milo from Nashville.
Thank you, Milo. Every time you and I are getting together, we have many exciting things to talk about, many ideas coming. And yes, On Passive is the biggest topic that we've been talking about. On Passive is a real company, real business with real people and with real stories. And On Passive started with Mr. Ashmore, and boy, Mr. Ash moved forward with the mind of a genius and a heart of gold. Every time he's getting together with us, our heart and mind are expanding. And yes, the biggest topic that you and I, Milo, are talking about is giving. And so let's start discussing how do we give and how we can help people to expand their mind a little bit to building or to give.
Thank you, Julie. That question's come up quite a few times because we are always talking about giving. We talk about, you always say the gift that keeps on giving, and that's what it is. And would just like to say how I plan on. Now, that doesn't mean that it's right, that it's wrong. Everyone's got their own way, but people want to know how I plan on doing it. So I just wanted to do this little show to kind of go over that and tell you. So, I mean, one of the things that I want to do, and I know you do too, is, I actually, when I set up, I've got actual spots for different type things. So I have one that's for homeless. I have one for American vets, disabled vets. I've got one for churches. I got one for musicians and singer songwriters. I got one for classmates. And I think it's important that because of what we are experiencing when we first started, we like to say that Ash is changing the world one person at a time, and it started with Ash Mufaro. But when we first come on, we were worried about the money, but now it's how much money are we going to be able to give out? How much money are we going to be able to help humanity with? And or animals or whatever your thing is, it can go for anything that you can think of. Okay, but I think what we need to do is we need to get our mind and our heart right first to realize that we're going to be living in abundance. Okay, we don't need all that money. There's no need in having all that money and just sitting there when you can put it to use, give it away to someone, and you don't lose it. It comes back to you, you know, a lot more than what you paid out. So that's what I like about the system. We can put those in, and then when it launches, you can take the money that comes into those. I'll be taking the ones that come into that spot, and when I get say $100 or $250, whatever it is, to put a reseller in. Well, if it's in the churches, I take that 150 or $200 out, whatever it is, to buy someone a spot in a reseller, and I put them in a reseller spot. Now, what I did is I made up a Google sheet or an Excel sheet that shows all these different things, and I've already started naming off names. So I got hundreds of names of people that I want to bless, you know, with that in mind, that, I'm going to take this church folder, I'm going to bless the church, but when I bless that church, the church, I want to tell them about, hey, why don't you take half of that money, put it back in, and that will build the team. Like we say with the orange, how many oranges can an orange create? An orange can create an orange grove because, every seed is a tree and every tree produces fruit. So that's kind of my way of thinking on it.
Absolutely, and I love the fact that you're so giving because you gave me a position on passive, and yes, it's I take it as a blessings. I didn't take it as a business starter of business. I take it really as a blessings, and when I share that with other people, I share it as a blessing. So this really, sitting here listening to you, really take me back, way back when I was a little girl. Growing up, I was growing up in a somewhat rich family, but then when the North took over the South, we going from having more than enough to having nothing. And so I was in the receiving end of it. I remember, um, there's time our family has nothing to eat. There's like no tomorrow, but someone's leaving food in front of our door. Or, I mean, I have always live and carry my life as I have more than enough. I always live that way. One of the things that I remember the most, and this actually really ingrained in my head, is when I was about 6 years old. I did something for my uncle, and he gave me a quarter, just enough to buy my favorite candy, right? Just this white favorite candy. And I went on my way to the store to buy that candy. I saw this man actually have no feet and no hand. He was just sitting in the puddle of water on top of a little tire that cuts out. And he just sitting there, and just there's so many people surrounding him but did nothing. Didn't do. I was only 6 years old girl and holding that quarter in my hand, which I can buy the sweet candy, right? That would satisfy me. But when I watched him and my tear just rolling down, and remember, I wasn't a wealthy kid. I was 4 or 6 years old at that time. My dad wasn't around. We were at poverty level, but I was just watching him, and I'm like, I have more than I needed. So I literally did and gave him my quarter. So that is really ingrained in my mind, that no matter where you are, who you are, wherever you be, you have more than enough. You have more than you can, take in. And so when On Passive came about, I feel that I don't really understand or really wanted to see the number of how much money I will make. And I know you've tried to explain this to me a few times. And I'm like, I still don't even know the number. But I see some numbers, but I feel that On Passive has given me the opportunity to share more than just a quarter in my hand, a lot more. And what I wanted to do is that I wanted to teach people how better their life. You can give a man, you can teach a man how to fish, but you can't really make him do it. Or you can take the horse to the water, but you can't really make him drink the water. So my goal is to be able to teach, or not personally teaching people, but giving them the opportunity to explore what is out there and explore the blessings. And so I see that On Passive does that for me. And the way how I share my On Passive way is, instead of giving someone $100, I give them an opportunity, and I ask them, this $100 will give you a future of your life and your children's life. What will you do with it? Will you go and spend on a nice meal or buy some nice clothes for you, or will you take this and buy a position of On Passive, which will give you the wealth and the comfortable and the freedom of time, freedom of money, and freedom of knowledge? What would you do? So that's how I give.
Absolutely. And it's great. And it feels so good when you give. It really does. I mean, when you can give someone that needs something, some money, or help them out, help your fellow neighbor out, there's nothing like that, And once it becomes almost an addiction, because once you start doing it, you just keep doing it and you want to do it. And it's so cool that, that it does work that way, and we will be able to, we're going to live abundantly. We're going to have the money. So no longer are you going to have the quarter that you got to give away. You're going to have a bunch of quarters, and
Millions of them.
yeah, you just give some away, and it's not a big deal, right? It is a big deal to the person that you're giving it to, and once you understand that, and I look at, like churches, of course, my dad was a minister, and churches, I feel like, are extend an arm out to the community. So how could it help a church? Man, a church could, give away, whether it's food bank, whether it's foreign missions, whether it's home mission, or a building fund. You could do any of this stuff with it, and I've got, like I said, I do vets, homeless, cancer patients. I've got a fund for Christmas. I got a fund for, a retirement fund. I've got one that's MLM and networkers, that I want to bring into these different things. And I want to be able to give it to them, And if they don't understand it, I might even keep it for a while and build the money up in it and give away a few and then say, hey, here, you want this? And they get it. And guess what? It's already built a bunch of people for my team too, but not only for my team, but remember, when you put them on a line, the computer puts them under those three at the top of your team. So that's going to help your whole team, and it will build your whole team from the bottom up. And there's nothing sweeter than helping the people on your team, where it's
Absolutely.
basically, if they realize that, hey, there's money that's going to be coming in there, and it's going to be building from the bottom, you can end up with teams that are already made. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I love that you share that because we are literally giving people a lot of ideas of the organizations that they can help. But not only that, Mr. Ashmufar had actually inspired each and every one of us, founder in Onpassive, that when we are full, we got to reach our hands out to help other people. And I think if you're watching this video, you probably have be able to pick out a lot of idea. If you belong to a PTA at school, if you know some of the teachers out there that spend so much money to dedicate their time and their own money to help these students. I mean, O Academy would be a great resource for them. Now, if you have the organizations that focusing on child abuse, you could help that. You have mentioned about the veterans. You could do that. You can mention about the organizations that building home for homeless. If you belong to one of those, I mean, it could be anything that you can think of to be able to use on passive.
Right. And one of the things most of the founders have done is put their family in, their children, their grandchildren. But guess what? With the children, what is a better way to teach them to give than to, when it comes up, when you get money into their account, you say, hey, you got $250, go give it to someone. Or, do you have a school fund? Maybe you got a band fund, maybe you got a high school sports fund. Okay, you give them $100 to start them, and then people start putting in. And guess what? When they put in to help out the band, the fund, whatever, but it grows the thing. So the next year, guess what? They got all these people that are underneath them, that money's growing, and these people are getting money back. What better way is it than that? But I realize we're running out of time. Me and you can go on forever on this stuff. But we're close to 15 or 20 minutes now, so we'll probably have you wrap it up.
Yes, absolutely. I will do that. I think it's really important that ones have to have a mindset. If you have a mindset of living in poverty or never enough, then you really all we can think is us. But if we have a mindset of living abundance, it always will come. I mean, it will just,
It's
I mean,
going to be
money,
that way.
yeah, it's money is like really floating in the air right now. All you got to do is reach out and
Absolutely.
you can go to the river. You can get it as one spoon of water, or you can get a whole bucket of water, or you actually can get a truckload of water to be able to do that. So I think the mindset is really important. And what's other important is take the action. Because if you don't take the action, it will just sit there. If an orange just sit there, it will go bad and it will rotten. But if you take the orange and you take the seed out and you plant it in the seed, it will grow up into a tree, and the tree that make the unlimited of not the unlimited, but the unlimited of oranges. So if you watched this message, this video, and if you wanted to know more about Onpassive, get back with the person who shared this message with you. And if you are a founder and you don't know why all the founders right now have this beautiful smile and this glowing in their face, it's because of Onpassive. You need to take the action and explore Onpassive. So thank you so much for watching the Julia and Milo show. We look forward to seeing your next show. Today, we actually going to be doing a lot of live video on Facebook to do role play. And if you have any idea what you want us to cover, we will be able to do that. And if you are a founder and you have a inspiring story, or even you have a story you want to share with everybody, let's get to know the founder in on Passive. Thank you for watching us. Good night from Newport Beach, California.
Good night from Nashville.